Hello, this is Final Score on FA Cup fourth round weekend. Martin Keown and Matt Holland will guide us through any shocks over the next 45 minutes. Now, games are being played at all sorts of different times. This is what's happened so far, plus some of the standout games that are going on at the moment. Aston Villa are leading beat Blackburn, I beg your pardon, that's finished, by 3-1. Birmingham and Coventry is now 2-2. Coventry were 2-up through Marlon King and Richard Wood. David Bentley and Stuart Parnaby just in the last minute or so have equalised for Birmingham. Everton and Chelsea finished 1-1. Solomon Kalou came off the bench to grab an equaliser for the FA Cup holders. Louis Saha had given Everton the lead. League One Leyton Orient have upset the Championship promotion contenders Swansea at lunchtime. Alan Tate's 88th minute goal put the O's into the hat for the fifth round draw. Crawley are leading at Torquay. They're the only non-league side left in. Matt Tubbs grabbed the crucial goal in the first half. That game, though, did kick off 15 minutes late. And in-form Championship side Watford trail the League One leaders, Brighton, thanks to Ashley Barnes' 20-yard effort. Only one place to start this final score, though, and that is at Torquay. Hamish Marshall.
It's Torquay 0, Crawley 1, as you said. We kicked this game off 15 minutes late due to crowd congestion, and Crawley are closing in on becoming just the sixth non-league side to reach the last 16 of the FA Cup. Matthew Tubbs has got the crucial goal, his 25th of the season, a good finish on the end of a long ball. Torquay didn't create too many chances in the first half. They have been better in the 13 minutes we've had in the second half, and they've just gone close when Danny Stevens has just glanced a shot wide. So we've got more than half an hour to go, and the Crawley keeper has already been booked for time wasting. It's a real FA Cup cracker, and we could well have a shock at the end of it. It's Torquay 0, Crawley 1.
And there could be a shock at Vicarage Road as well. Championship high flyers Watford are losing to the League One leaders Brighton. Lindsay Hooper.
It's still Watford 0, Brighton 1, Mark, but it is end-to-end stuff. Brighton now relying on the counter-attack because Watford have been taking charge of this match. Danny Graham left Bresnan stunned with his shot just a few moments ago. Bresnan just happened to be in the right space to keep the goal out, and then Ashley Barnes with a quick counter effort at the other end. And it's going to be one of those games, I think, where it will either be 2-0 to Brighton, or we could have a draw in our hands come full time. Watford 0, Brighton 1.
Straight back to Torquay, where the ball is on the penalty spot. Who's got it? Hamish Marshall.
It's going to be a penalty to the non-league side. Torquay have conceded the penalty because Chris Zabrowski was adjudged to have handball when a cross came in the penalty area. He's now left the pitch, and it's going to be Matthew Tubbs who's going to have the chance for his second goal of the afternoon, and the chance to create surely a massive piece of FA Cup history. Neither of these sides have ever reached the fifth round of this competition. Crawley are in with a chance of doing it and having the third league scalp on the way. Tubbs is poised over the ball now. Scott Bevan is in the Torquay United goal. Tubbs is just walking back to the edge of the penalty area. He comes in now, and the penalty is saved by Scott Bevan in the Torquay goal. He guessed right. He went far down to his right, and he's turned it round the post for a corner. The game is still alive, but the non-league side have missed a golden chance for a 2-0 lead. Torquay 0, Crawley 1.
It would have been his 26th of the season, but Torquay are still very much in it. They trailed Crawley by 1-0. We're going to Hillsborough next. Sheffield Wednesday against Hereford, and you have a penalty. Naz Premji.
Certainly do. We've just seen a memorable FA Cup goal, Mark. You have to see this. Nicky Weaver scampered the ball out. Jermaine Johnson ran half the length of the pitch, past three Hereford defenders, lashed the ball into the top corner for 3-1. Handball in the Hereford area for this penalty now, and it's Clinton Morrison once again from the spot, and he scores, and this game is well and truly over now. It's Sheffield Wednesday 4, Hereford United 1. But let me tell you, a great third goal for Wednesday. Jermaine Johnson, you have to see that goal. Absolutely mesmerising.
I don't know where I could see it, though. That's the problem, Naz. Where could I see that goal? Right, we're going to go to St Andrews next. What a comeback for Birmingham. Andrew James.
Yes, it was a cup fever in the week, Mark. It's been a cup hangover today, really, for Birmingham. 2-0 down. First goal from Marlon King for Coventry, followed by a free header from Richard Wood. And although David Bentley got one back for Birmingham at half-time, they still looked out of sorts. But just a few minutes ago, Stuart Parnaby, one of 9 changes for Birmingham today, stabbing the ball over the line, and since then, with Kevin Phillips just going wide for Birmingham just now, Birmingham look the most likely winners. It's Birmingham 2, Coventry 2.
I do know, Martin, where I can see it, but I'm not allowed to trail it. That's the whole point. Right, Stevenage against Reading. Stevenage provided one of the shocks of the third round. Can they do the same in the fourth? Mark Bishop.
No reason why they can't, Mark. It's Stevenage 1, Reading 1. One of those games when every Stevenage fan packed into the Lamex Stadium here will be able to say in years to come, I was there when I saw that goal. Darius Charles, the big centre-half as Stevenage took the ball over the halfway line, beat 1-2, 3 Reading players, kept going, unleashing a 20-yard shot past Federici into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. Roy the Rovers stuff indeed. 7,000 fans here, loving every minute of it. Justice that goal after Anthony Taylor, the referee, turned down what seemed a stonewall penalty when Beardsley, I believe, went down under a heavy challenge from Mills. 1-1.
Kilmarnock are down to 10 men in that game in the SPL, and Hamilton, the bottom side, have equalised through Michael-Antoine Courier. 11 minutes to go there. League 2 leaders, Livingston level with East Fife, 3-3 in that game. And as you can see, in the FA Cup, Birmingham have turned it round at St Andrews. Andrew James.
Yes, he wasn't going to be denied, Kevin Phillips, Mark. He'd had that chance when you were with me last. It was saved by Westwood, but then a corner came over. Phillips took one touch to control it, thumped it past the Coventry keeper, and Birmingham, just as they did in midweek, have turned round a deficit, and they now lead Coventry by 3-2.
When we were talking earlier, Martin, you said that basically Birmingham, when they played West Ham, were 2 goals down on aggregate and turned it round, and they've done exactly the same thing.
Of course, Alex McLeish did the trick, didn't he, at half-time against West Ham midweek. Kevin Phillips not getting on that occasion. He did this time, and what a fairy tale for him. Of course, he's going to get to a final now. He might be able to pick up a trophy, the only thing missing, really, from an illustrious career. But turned it round. I mean, local derby, of course, as well. Coventry now will be kicking themselves for having gone 2-0 up. But a great turnaround for Birmingham.
And a non-league side in Crawley, they could have gone 2-0 up with that penalty. So for the rest of that game, they have to block that from their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had some big scalps already in this competition. There's only 14 places between the two of them in the league ladder as well. So it's a great opportunity for them. Forget it and carry on and try and get it through to the next round now.
We have a goal at Turf Moor where Burnley were 2-0 up on Burton Albion. Are Burton still in it? James Mason.
They certainly are, Mark. It's Burnley 2, Burton Albion 1. Calvin Zola, on loan from Crewe Alexander, has scored from inside the 6-yard box with approximately, 2 or 3 minutes to go. I was just about to wrap up my notes and say it was a plucky effort from Burton, because Burnley had taken the lead through Chris Eagles, doubled it through Eagles again, and it looked like they were out for the count, but they've got a chance. 2 minutes to go. It's Burnley 2, Burton 1.
Albion against Elgin is 3rd against 4th in Scottish League 3, and the 3rd place side lead by 2-0. And Montrose against Clyde is 9th against 10th in that same division, and the 9th place side now 3-1 up on bottom of the table, Clyde. Back to the FA Cup and the 4th round. Damien Johnson at the Reebok. You still have the only goalless game, I think, in the Cup.
That's right, the first FA Cup meeting between these two Lancashire neighbours has produced few moments of quality. There have been chances. The best came after just 15 seconds for Bolton. Johan Elmander threw on goal after Adrian Lopez conceded possession, but he dithered and the chance was missed. This derby traditionally fails to attract much of a crowd. No difference today, only 14,950 here at the Reebok, despite reduced ticket prices. 8 changes for Wigan suggests the Cup is higher on Bolton's priorities. In the second half, Blake, the substitute for Bolton, has gone close, and a moment ago, Callum McManaman, the youngster, just forced a save from Jääskeläinen, but 0-0.
Let's get details of one of the early games for you now on Final Score. At Goodison, it finished Everton 1, Chelsea 1, and Alice Yeomans watched it.
The cup holders may be fortunate to still be in the competition. They look like going out, but were given a lifeline seconds after Petr Cech made a brilliant save from Rob Wales' header with 15 minutes to go. They broke downfield, and Nelka's pass found substitute Kalou, whose bobbling shot went in off the post. Everton's goal was richly deserved. Baines floated in a corner from the right. Chelsea were watching for Fellaini, but the ball was met superbly by the head of Sahar in the very middle of the penalty box. The goal had been coming. Everton began the second half much the brighter, and Chelsea looked half-hearted and repeatedly gave away the ball. And despite Chelsea's equaliser, Everton almost snatched it late on when Beckford's volley was tipped over by the excellent Cech.
There was a shock, though, at the Liberty Stadium where Leyton Orient beat Swansea by 2-1. But we'll bring you that report in a second, because you're not going to believe this. There's another penalty at Torquay, Hamish Marshall.
And it's another penalty to Crawley, and it's another penalty taker. This time it's McAllister, Craig McAllister, who's stepping up to take it. And Scott Bevan saves again. It's gone to his left-hand side this time, and he's tipped that one away as well. 2 penalty saves from the Torquay goalkeeper, but he could still be ending up on a losing side. 10-man Torquay are trailing Crawley by 1-0. We're midway through the second half.
So, Matt, when you're a non-league side and you miss one penalty and then miss a second penalty, do you have to wipe that from your mind?
You've got to put that from your mind, exactly that. Exactly. Third time lucky.
I mean, and they haven't been missed, have they? The keeper saved both of these.
Yeah, no, fair play to the keeper. I mean, they're down to 10 men as well, Torquay. It sounds like they're hanging on. But, yeah, they have to put it out of their mind, exactly that.
I mean, football-wise now, you kind of get the feeling, because these things happen, that Torquay will equalise.
You do, but down to 10 men is going to be difficult. But Crawley now just got to see the job out. And psychologically, this could almost affect them as well, because the tie could have been out of sight. They've just got to keep their head, see it through. Of course, that game kicked off very late, so there's plenty of action yet to come. But looks like Crawley could go through.
Plenty of time for another penalty, Playmore. So as it stands at the moment, Crawley still lead Torquay by 1-0. But as I was saying, one of the shocks earlier on came at the Liberty, where Leyton Orient beat Swansea 2-1. Nigel Adderley has this report.
Orient moved into the 5th round for the first time since 1982 with a classic smash-and-grab victory to knock out a top-6 championship club on their own turf for the second round running. The game's key moment came 2 minutes from time when Swansea captain Alan Tate sliced Paul Hosey and Poco's cross into his own net. Orient earned their good fortune with some magnificent defending and inspired goalkeeping from Jamie Jones. He was beaten only once when Cedric van der Gun equalised Jimmy Smith's opener for Orient late in the first half. But Swansea couldn't capitalise, and nobody will fancy a trip to Brisbane Road in the last 16.
Steve Fletcher is Bournemouth's new assistant manager, and he's put them 2-1 up at home park, and there you can see it. There's been another goal at Stevenage, and it's bad news for the home fans. Mark Bishop.
It's bad news indeed. It's Stevenage 1, Reading 2, 1,400 Reading fans away to my right have gone into dreamland because they thought their side was starting to wilt after that terrific Roy the Rovers equaliser from Darius Roberts as he flew into the area. Darius Charles, rather, down the right-hand side, beat 1-2-3 Reading players, planted a terrific shot past Federici to bring Stevenage right back into the game. We've just seen McAnuff out on the left, whipping a terrific cross. Shane Long couldn't miss, his 13th of the season, and Reading, it seems, are going to be into the last 16. Stevenage 1, Reading 2.
They were quarter-finalists last year as well, Reading, so they do have a cup pedigree. The final early game for us to tell you about was at Villa Park. All Premier League affair. Aston Villa ran out 3-1 winners over Blackburn. Here's Jonathan Legend.
Even without Darren Bento as cup-tied, even showing 6 changes and even reduced to 10 men after young left-back Nathan Baker was sent off in the second half, Villa had too much for Rovers. Blackburn, in fact, contributed to their own downfall. Poor defending helped Villa to their 3 goals, a Clark header, a gem of an effort from Robert Pires and Nathan Delfonso's snapshot. Kalinic, replacing the injured Roque Santa Cruz after just 10 minutes, had poked Rovers level. If only Andrews, Hoylett and Benjani had been as accurate in the second half, Rovers might well have earned at least a replay. Olsen also hit the bar. As it is, Villa, confidence visibly growing, held firm, and they recorded their 5th successive cup victory over Rovers in the last 17 months.
Couple of championship games going on as well this afternoon. One of them at the KC Stadium, where Steve Sutton is watching Hull against QPR.
It's Hull 0, QPR 0, about 4 minutes left, plus any added on, and no real sign of a goal yet. 2 half-decent chances this half. A good free kick from Tarab to the far post, or ghosting in at the back, but the sort of finish you'd expect from someone wearing number 2 on his back. And then about 10 minutes ago, Jamie Devitt with a good, powerful shot, blocked on the line by Paddy Kenny in the QPR goal. If ever a game desperately needed a goal, it's this one. Not long to get it, 0-0.
Brentford are on an awful run of form. They've picked up 1 point out of the last 15 in League One. They've just had goalkeeper Richard Lee sent off, and now they've conceded a second goal to Yeovil. Paul Watton, 7 minutes from time. Martin, the Hull QPR game is the one that you've been watching.
Yeah, it's been a difficult game really for both. QPR playing most of the football. Nigel Pearson's team very organised. Steve Harper in midfield sort of putting them under a lot of pressure. No real clear-cut chances. it's going to be a draw as it looks at the moment, but if anyone does score, it'll be QPR.
The other Championship game that's going on at the moment is at Selhurst Park. John Anderson watching Palace against Norwich.
Where it's still 0-0, but not for the want of trying. Both sides desperately trying to win this game. It could easily be 3-3. There have been a lot of chances, but none of them have gone in as yet. Palace closed through their teenage substitute, Wilfried Zaha. He's just been called up into the England under-19 squad this week, and it was a rasping drive by him that was well saved by John Ruddy. At the other end, Grant Holt, Norwich's top scorer, normally so reliable and prolific for them, had a glorious chance as the ball dropped to him on the edge of the box, but he hurried his shot and fired it over the bar. It's been end-to-end in the second half. It's been a really good game, but it's 0-0.
It's just dropped off the video print there, but a cracking game at Stair Park as well, where the League 3 leaders in Scotland, Stranraer, trail second place Arbroath by 4 goals to 3. What we would kill for just one of those in that game you're watching at Selhurst Park.
To be honest, both sides have been going for it. It's been a really good game, end to end. The pitches hasn't helped, actually. It's been quite bobbly as well, and it's probably affected Norwich more because they've tried to pass the ball, tried to play through midfield, whereas Crystal Palace looked lively on the break as well. So both sides have had chances. Please, one goal.
Although a point would be good enough, wouldn't it, for Norwich to take them into second place with Cardiff not playing today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously their aim this season will be to get promoted, Norwich, and to put themselves into second place will be a great achievement today.
Ashley Grimes' 6th league goal of the season has given Lincoln City the lead at Sincil Bank against Port Vale. Lincoln 1, Port Vale 0. In the Scotland today, there are SPL games, but there's also a CIS Cup semi-final. It's between Celtic and Aberdeen. Brian McLaughlin has the latest.
In the final minute here, Mark, it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 4. Neil Lennon's side 4 up at half-time thanks to goals from new boy Chris Commons, Thomas Ronya, Charlie McGrew and Anthony Stokes. Aberdeen restored a little bright in the second half. Scott Vernon scoring on the hour mark, and here's another chance for Scott Vernon for his second of the afternoon. He rounds the keeper, but it's cleared off the line. Vernon missed another chance for a second goal for Aberdeen when he was set up by Josh McGuinness, but he fired over the crossbar. Aberdeen, as I say, restoring pride. Celtic, though, have been dominant. We're into the stoppage time now here at Hampden Park. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 4.
One of those SPL games has been at Tynecastle. Ian Turner.
Yeah, 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Hearts still leading St Johnstone 1-0, and Jim Jeffries' side just unable to tie this one up and make sure of all 3 points. They're definitely the better side. They've enjoyed a lot of possession, but just in the last 10 minutes, St Johnstone have started to pile everybody forward, and Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown, the Hearts management team, are going apoplectic on the touchline waiting for the final whistle. They don't have long to wait now. Hearts 1, St Johnstone 0.
Maybe Norwich should get Cody McDonald back from Gillingham, where he's on loan at the moment. He's got 2 this afternoon, 14 for the season, and they lead Dean Holdsworth Aldershot by 2 goals to 0. In League One, second place Bournemouth are at Plymouth, and the new management team at Bournemouth are doing the business, Andy Barwell.
They certainly are. Bournemouth have just re-established the advantage here. Great footwork and a great finish from substitute and assistant manager Steve Fletcher. Plymouth had got back into this after Rory Fallon netted a rebound when Rory Patterson's shot had hit the post. Bournemouth second in the table, surprisingly though, looking for only a 3rd away win in the league, but it looks like being 5 defeats in their last 6 games now for Plymouth. Into 3 minutes of stoppage time, it's Plymouth 1, Bournemouth 2.
Penalties all over the place in the last 10 minutes, so don't worry, this one isn't at Torquay. This one has come at Carlisle in League One. Dave Donaldson.
Yeah, Carlisle 1, Oldham 2, but Carlisle had the chance to level this game in stoppage time. It was a foul by Paul Black on Francois Zoko. Doubts whether it was actually inside the area, and doubts whether it was even a penalty, but the referee has pointed to the spot, and he's certainly going to give it despite the appeals, understandably, from the Oldham players. The referee just asking the goalkeeper, Ben Amos, to get back in goal. Looks like Ben Marshall's the man that's going to take it. Difficult to see from where I'm sat, but he puts the ball on the spot. It's not Marshall, in fact. But Carlisle a chance to level this game. Can Ben Amos save it? Didn't look much like a penalty to me. Steps up, right into the roof of the net. It was James Bennett, in fact, right foot. A good a penalty, shall see. Carlisle United 2, Oldham 2.
Now, also in League One this afternoon, Walsall at home to Bristol Rovers. Bottom of League One. They hadn't won in 7. They managed 2 things today, 3 points and making Ivan Gaskell smile.
Absolutely, it's been terrific stuff. A stone's throw from the M6. Walsall have scored 6. I'm told it's the first time they've scored 6 in the 20 years they've been at this stadium. I chose a pretty good day to make my first trip here. The locals, so deprived of any joy this season, are staring wide-eyed in disbelief. They're hugging each other. Their team were 9 points adrift of safety at the start of the day at the foot of League One. They've been inspired. Their first win in 8 games. 2 goals from skipper Andy Butler, the other shed by Gill, Gray, Richardson, Nichols. Hughes with a consolation for Rovers, whose shell-shocked travelling fans can be heard chanting, "You don't know what you're doing," and I rather fear they're not talking about the ref.
Back to the FA Cup. James Mason at Turf Moor.
Yes, I did say there was only 2 minutes left in my last report. Cruelly on Burton, there were 10 minutes and well, enough time for Burnley to get their third. Martin Patterson, on as a second half substitute, has made it 3-1, and that definitely is lights out now, Mark.
Thank you very much, James. The final whistle has gone. As you can see, it's Stevenage. Mark Bishop.
Stevenage 1, Reading 2 after that giant-killing cup victory over Newcastle at the Lamex Stadium. No repeat against the Reading side, I'm afraid, even though they were put to the sword in periods of this rumbustious encounter. First ever meeting, remember, between these two sides. Reading went ahead through Mikel Leijapwood. Stevenage, though, to their credit, they came flying out of the traps after the break. An incredible Roy the Rovers goal from centre-back. Yes, centre-back Darius Charles beat 3 Reading players, then smashed in a 20-yard rocket, giving Stevenage hope. But back came Reading, back enough on the left, whipping in a terrific cross. Shane Long couldn't miss from 3 yards. His 13th of the season. Reading going to the last 16. Stevenage 1, Reading 2.
There's been a late goal at Chesterfield where the leaders were 2-1 down to Bradford. Harry Gratian.
Bit of a scramble, but who cares if you're a Chesterfield fan? Jordan Bowery, we think, is the one who scored the goal literally with seconds left. They're still playing here. A real tremendous rearguard action. The whistle has gone. Bradford City thought they'd got 3 points in there, but full credit to Chesterfield. They've managed to get a point out of nothing here. 2-2.
They'd lost their last 4 at Bradford, so they've put that run to an end, but they'll be disappointed they didn't hold on for the full 3 points. Back to the Championship, where it is all over at the KC Stadium. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Mark, neither side managing to find the net. A goalless draw, but right at the death on the 92nd minute, Hull City could very nearly have stolen the points. Matty Fryard finding a way through one-on-one with Paddy Kenny. Not the easiest of opportunities, but he blazed it high and wide. Kenny produced a good stop on the line a little earlier than that from Jamie Devitt. Bradley Orr had a good chance for QPR. Miller did get the ball in the net for QPR in the first half, but that was ruled offside. Queen's Park Rangers retain a commanding lead at the top. They're on course for promotion. Hull City's resurgence continues, but this afternoon, 0-0.
Goalless there in the Championship and goalless at Selhurst Park in the Championship as well. John Anderson.
Yes, it's just finished here, Mark. 0-0, and that point apiece means that Norwich goes second in the Championship table and Palace climb out of the bottom 3. In truth, it could have been 3-3 this game. There were so many chances. Both sides might have led at the interval. Palace keeper Julian Speroni made a fine save from Wes Houlihan, while Paddy McCarthy put a header just wide for the Eagles. John Ruddy twice came to Norwich's rescue in the second half with great saves from Sean Scannell and Wilfred Zaha, but Norwich might have won it at the death. Their top scorer Grant Hold wasting a gilt-edged chance, volleying over from 18 yards. A much better game than the scoreline suggests. It finished Crystal Palace 0, Norwich City 0.
But it does take Norwich second in the Championship this evening as it stands 5 points behind QPR, a point clear of Cardiff, having played a game more. Back to the FA Cup, where it's all over at the Reebok, and there's a replay, Damien Johnson.
Yeah, one of football's less passionate local derbies, rarely threatened to come to the boil. It was a game short on quality. The best chance came inside just 15 seconds. Elmander hesitated when Wigan's Lopez was dispossessed and the chance was missed. Bolton's Jussi Jääskeläinen was by far the busier keeper, denying long-range efforts from Stam, Gomez and Watson. The first FA Cup meeting between these two neighbours won't live too long in the memory. They'll try again at the DW Stadium on Wednesday the 16th of February, Mark.
Here's an FA Cup shock for you. You can see it on the video printer. It's come at Vicarage Road. Lindsay Hooper has all the details of Brighton's win over the Championship side.
Yes, full-time, Watford 0, Brighton 1. Ashley Barnes' 20-yard strike in the first half, which was spilled by Gil Martin in the Watford goal. That was the only thing to separate these two. Brighton did certainly dominate the first half, but it was Watford who dominated the second. Everyone, myself included, momentarily thought that Danny Graham had found the equaliser, but he actually hit the side netting. Great chance, but it sees Brighton through for the first time to the last 16 since 1986. They eliminated Championship opposition last round, knocking out Portsmouth, and they've done it again here. Watford 0, Brighton 1.
So far at Torquay, Crawley lead 1-0, but there have been 2 penalties and a sending off, and now there's been another red card. Hamish Marshall.
Another red card. This time it's gone to Stevenage, so we're going to play the last 10 minutes or so of this game with 10 against 10. Dean Howe, the Crawley player, has been sent off in this match. He's the full-back. There was a melee in the Torquay United area. Almost all players were involved in some sort of scuffle after it. The referee, Darren Deadman, decided that Hull had caused the infringement. He's been sent off. Crawley are going to have to play the last 10 minutes of this with 10 men. So are Torquay, but Crawley do lead by that crucial goal. Torquay 0, Crawley 1.
So psychologically, don't ask me again. Full-time at Turf Moor, James Mason.
Yes, Burnley 3, Burton Albion 1 mark. A goal in each half from Chris Eagles and a third from Martin Pattison in time added on proved enough to end Burton Albion's FA Cup run. A late Calvin Zola goal gave the travelling fans some hope of another cup upset, but it wasn't to be with 10 minutes to go. But Burnley just had too much quality in the end. Eagles first, a superb goal after fine link-up play with Jack Cork, his second a tap-in, but they all count. Burnley 3, Burton Albion 1.
And the final whistle has gone at Hillsborough, where a shock wasn't to be, Naz Prenji.
Yes, Sheffield Wednesday 4, Hereford United 1. Chappers, no shock here, despite Hereford scoring first through Stuart Fleetwood. Wednesday hit back, Darren Potter levelled. Clinton Morrison then scored from the spot after Joe Heath brought him down. Heath given his marching orders for that offence. Jermaine Johnson scored a mesmerising third, running half the length of the pitch, passing 3 defenders and lashing a 25-yard shot into the top corner. Morrison then took advantage of a handball in the box once again to score his second and Wednesday's 4th from the spot. Wednesday in the hat then for round number 5, easing a little bit of that pressure on boss Alan Irvine. It's Sheffield Wednesday 4, Hereford United 1 at full time.
And Birmingham will be in that hat as well, but it was close, Andrew James.
Yes, it was, Mark. It was Groundhog Day almost from midweek, seeing Birmingham come from behind to move on in a cup competition. Coventry good value in the first half. Birmingham making 9 changes, just didn't look at the races as Marlon King and then Richard Wood from a free header put the Sky Blues into a 2-0 lead. David Bentley scored his first goal for Birmingham just before half-time from 25 yards to keep them in the game. And when Stuart Parnaby prodded a foot out to put the ball over for an equalising goal from Alexander Hleb's cross, Birmingham from that point on looked the only likely winners, and after seeing one great effort saved well by Kieran Westwood, Kevin Phillips soon after obliged by thumping the ball in from a corner. Coventry had nothing else to offer, and so Birmingham progress in this competition as well. Birmingham City 3, Coventry City 2.
So we've heard that League One leaders Brighton won at Watford in the Cup, and Bournemouth have taken advantage of that. Andy Barwell.
Yes, an important win for Bournemouth in their bid for promotion, with Plymouth on a real downward spiral. They're on a financial knife edge at home park. It looked like they'd had a little good fortune, though, on the pitch. A rebound netted by Rory Fallon to cancel out Mark Pugh's first half goal for the visitors. But Bournemouth nicked it late on through veteran Steve Fletcher. Plymouth 1, Bournemouth 2.
Now, in League Two, we've already heard that Chesterfield were held by Bradford. How did Rotherham, who are also chasing promotion, do against bottom-of-the-table Stockport? Steve Lee.
Pretty routine for Rotherham. Rotherham 4, Stockport 0. Things going from bad to worse for rock bottom. Stockport 1 point now from the last 7 matches, and a goal difference, I make it, of -35. Bit of a drubbing from the Millers today. 2 goals from the excellent Ryan Taylor. 1 from Adam Lafront, that's 18 for the season, and an own goal from Aaron Brown. For Stockport, well, things just go from bad to worse. Rotherham 4, Stockport 0.
Let's nip back to Torquay, shall we? A couple of red cards. Scott Bevan saving 2 penalties for Torquay, and the non-league side 1-0 up at Playmore. Plenty for Hamish Marshall to fit in.
Yeah, it's all been happening here. We've got, 3.5 minutes, plus there will be quite a lot of stoppage time to go. The key goal came shortly before half-time. Matthew Tubbs inside the penalty area with a good finish for his 25th of the season. He then saw penalty number 1 saved by Scott Bevan in the second half, and then it was Craig McAllister about 5 or 6 minutes later who saw penalty number 2 saved. Zabrowski off for Torquay for a handball, and then Dean Howell off for Crawley for 2 fouls, 2 yellow cards. So we've got, in the dying minutes of this, it's 10 against 10, but the non-league side 1 foot in the 5th round. It's Torquay 0, Crawley 1.
And we'll be back at Playmore after the full classified results from Tim Gudgin.
And starting with the 4th round of the FA Cup, sponsored by Ian, Aston Villa 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. Birmingham City 3, Coventry City 2. Bolton Wanderers 0, Wigan Athletic 0. Burnley 3, Burton Albion 1. Everton 1, Chelsea 1. Sheffield Wednesday 4, Hereford United 1. Southampton and Manchester United kick off at 5:15. Stevenage 1, Reading 2. Swansea 1, Leyton Orient 2. And the latest in this one, Torquay United 0, Crawley Town 1. Watford 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. The N-Power Championship, Crystal Palace 0, Norwich City 0. Hull City 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. And Scunthorpe's match with Preston North End postponed. In League One, Brentford 1, Yeovil Town 2. Carlisle United 2, Oldham Athletic 2. Plymouth Argyle 1, AFC Bournemouth 2. Rochdale's match with Charlton Athletic postponed. Swindon Town 0, Exeter City 0. Walsall 6, Bristol Rovers 1. In League 2, Barnet 0, Southend United 2. Chesterfield 2, Bradford City 2. Crewe Alexandra's match with Accrington Stanley postponed. Gillingham 2, Aldershot Town 1. Lincoln City 1, Port Vale 0. Another postponement, Morecambe and Macclesfield Town. Oxford United 1, Cheltenham Town 1. And Rotherham United 4, Stockport County 0. In the Blue Square Premier, Barrow's match with Altrincham postponed. Bath City 4, Cambridge United 0. Darlington's match with Kettering Town postponed. Eastbourne Borough 2, Grimsby Town 3. Fleetwood Town 2, Forest Green Rovers 0. Hayes and Yeading United 0, Kidderminster 4. Histon 0, Newport County 0. Mansfield Town 2, Wrexham 3. Rushton and Diamonds 1, Tamworth 1. And Southport 4, York City 0. In the Co-op Insurance Cup semi-final, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 4. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Hamilton Academical 1, Kilmarnock 1. And Hearts 1, St Johnstone 0. The Arnbrew Scottish Division 1, Cowdenbeath's match with Dundee postponed. Greenock Morton 2, Ross County 1. Partick Thistle 2, Dunfermline Athletic 0. Wraith Rovers 1, Falkirk 2. And Stirling Albion's match with Queen of the South postponed. Scottish Div 2, Ayr United 4, Stenhousemuir 3. Dumbarton 1, Brecon City 2. Forfar Athletic and Airdrie United's match postponed. Livingston 4, East 5 3. Peterhead 4, Alloa Athletic 1. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 2, Elgin City 0. Annan Athletic and Queen's Park match postponed. East Stirlingshire 1, Berwick Rangers 0. Montrose 3, Clyde 1. Stranraer 3, Arbroath 4. In the Welsh Cup 4th round, Bangor City's match with Haverfordwest postponed. Cardiff Grange 1, Bridgend 0. Carmarthen Town 2, Gap Connors Quay 3. Elements Kefan Druids and Llanelli postponed, likewise Port Talbot Town and Casus and Ross Hurwyd and Prestatyn Town, and Rhyl and the New Saints. Uwick 4, Ballatown 1. The Carling Premiership, Crusaders 2, Donegal Celtic 1. Dungannon Swifts 1, Coleraine 0. Linfield 0, Ballymena United 0. Lisbon Distillery 0, Glentoran 2. And Portadown 2, Newry City 1.
One late kick-off, and they are into 6 minutes of injury time at Playmore, which you'd kind of expect as there have been 2 red cards and 2 penalties. And Torquay still trailing non-league Crawley by a 1-0. 6 minutes of injury time being played there. As far as the league games have been concerned today, let's see what they have done to the tables. 2 games in the Championship. They involve teams at the top. QPR held to a goalless draw at Hull. They remain 5 clear, but it's Norwich who occupy the second automatic promotion spot now after their 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace was enough to lift them above Cardiff. The bottom 2, Preston and Scunthorpe, were due to meet at Blandford Park, but that match was postponed. Just above them are Palace, who remain in the relegation zone despite that point this afternoon. With League One leaders Brighton involved in the FA Cup, nearest challengers Bournemouth kept up the pressure with a 2-1 win at Plymouth. They are now 3 points behind, although Brighton have 2 games in hand. Also moving in the right direction, Oldham. They climbed to 5th despite conceding a late equaliser at Carlisle. Walsall are off the bottom in style after thrashing Bristol Rovers 6-1. They're 2 clear of Dagenham and Redbridge, who didn't play today. That 6-1 scoreline, though, does little for Bristol Rovers, who remain 3 points from safety. Yeovil complete the bottom 4, but their recent revival continued with victory at Brentford. Chesterfield stay top of League 2 despite being held at home by Bradford. They're 7 clear of Wycombe, who didn't play today. Crewe's game was postponed, allowing Rotherham to move up to 3rd after they thrashed Stockport. Gillingham move into the playoff places at the expense of Shrewsbury. Defeats for both Stockport and Barnet see them remain in the relegation places. Lincoln were 3rd from bottom this morning, but their win over Port Vale lifts them up to 19th. Bad day for Hereford and Burton, both knocked out of the FA Cup and also dropping a place in the table. However, they do have a few games in hand over the bottom 2. AFC Wimbledon returned to the top of the Blue Square Premier last night with a 2-0 win at Gateshead. Nearest challengers Crawley, as we know, are involved in the FA Cup. They're 2 points behind, but they have 4 games in hand. Bottom side Histon picked up a point against Newport County, but they remain deep in trouble, 10 points from safety. Eastbourne, Altrincham and Hayes in Yeading are keeping them company in the relegation zone. And Celtic and Rangers are tied up with the CIS Cup semi-finals this weekend. 3rd place Hearts have taken full advantage. Their win over St Johnstone means they're just 2 points behind Rangers in the SPL. They have played a couple of games more. Kilmarnock stay 4th but have lost ground on the top 3 after being held by Hamilton. The point for the Ackies wasn't enough to lift them off the foot of the table. They now trail Hibs, though, by just 2 points with a game in hand. Action coming away on BBC Sport. The big one tomorrow being described as Andy Murray's best chance to win a major. He takes on Novak Djokovic. You can see it on BBC One from 8:15 tomorrow morning. And then match of the day this week, Wednesday, 10:45. There's a full programme of midweek Barclays Premier League games. So catch Gary and the boys Wednesday, 10:45 p.m. Now, before we do anything else, let's return to Torquay. Deep into injury time they are, Hamish Marshall.
Deep. We're officially in the last 30 seconds, but Matthew Tubbs, who's got the goal which separates these sides, has been booked during stoppage time for time wasting. Has also been a substitution as well, so we might have another minute and a half or so to go. But the good news from Crawley's point of view is that they are in the far corner, the Torquay corner, and that is where they would want to be, because Torquay have got to get a goal to get back into this match. It was Matthew Tubbs' goal which has given Crawley the lead in this game and a chance to become only the 6th 6th non-league side to make it into round 5 of the FA Cup. Their 1,500 fans away at the far end are now celebrating because the referee's whistle has gone and Crawley have made FA Cup history. They've beaten Torquay United by 1-0. They run away to their supporters behind that goal. The celebrations will continue. That's 3 league sides they have knocked out in this run in the FA Cup. They're in the last 16. They'll be looking for a big draw now, and the celebrations, they're only just beginning. Torquay's brave cup run ends, but it's Crawley who are the non-league side who grab the headlines tonight. They've won at Playmore by 1-0.
What a result for Crawley. They now become only the 6th non-league side to make it to the 5th round of the FA Cup, following Colchester in 1948, Yeovil, who got there by beating Sunderland on the way in 1949, Blythe Spartans in 1978, Telford in 1985, who were eventually put out by the runners-up Everton that year, and Kidderminster in 1994 beat Birmingham and Preston en route. We know that they have money behind them, Matt, and therefore, you know, are the richest club that there is in non-league football, but it's still a heck of an achievement to reach the 5th round of the FA Cup.
Absolutely fantastic, because it's not just beating Torquay today as well. They've beaten Swindon, they've beaten Derby on the way as well. So to beat those 3 teams, to get into the 5th round is a great achievement.
It's the beauty of this competition, isn't it? It goes right down to the lower leagues. It's dreamlike, you know, to beat a team of this, you know, Torquay is a massive team for them to play against. They go into the next round now, last 16. That is their cup final, and fantastic. Congratulations to Crawley Town for that magnificent...
It could have been 3 as well. Let's not forget they missed 2 penalties as well.
I think let's give a mention to Leyton Orient as well. Win at Swansea today because, you know, Swansea are 4th in the Championship. So to win that as well, I thought it was a great win from them.
And Brighton as well, who've knocked Watford out. If you support Brighton or Crawley or Leyton Orient, then give me a ring on 606 this evening. Robbie Savage will be with me. 0500 909 693. We'll be on BBC Radio 5 Live from 7:10 after the Southampton-Manchester United game, which is also on 5 Live now. We'll see you on Final Score next Saturday. Thank you to Martin. Thank you to Matt. See you soon. Bye-bye.